Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another day of NGS. Today's going to be a double header, but the first game today is going to be Protectors of Aiur versus Leoric Jenkins. Now, this is going to be a game from Division B East, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to be a little bit of a rough one for Leoric Jenkins. At least that's kind of what's expected if we look at the stats. Leoric Jenkins currently 4-14. However, both of their wins were how do they call it? Both of their wins were forfeits, but also 4 of their map losses were also forfeits. So when they did actually play, they were 0-10. Compared to the Protectors of Aiur, they are currently tied in 4th for Division B East, and they are only 5 points away from the #1 seed. So this is going to be a team that has already been able to prove themselves this season versus someone who's still trying to get their footing. I believe mathematically they are already eliminated from playoffs. However, I'm sure playing the game is fun, and they're also going to try and play a little bit just with their pride on the line. Both teams have said they're ready, so we should be getting into draft momentarily for game #1. But I have looked through their stats. I am slowly but surely trying to get a stats page set up for the stream. I almost got it today, and then it crashed on me literally half an hour before the stream. So I cried a little bit, got better. But what I can do is share some of these stats. So Protectors of Aiur, they are a team that very heavily focuses on Muradin as the draft is beginning. And map #1, by the way, is going to be Battlefields of Eternity. So we're going to be looking for characters that are able to push down or to kill those immortals as fast as possible. So expect characters like Greymane, Vala, Li Ming to be in priority for this game. I do expect Muradin and Anduin, the Light Bomb combo, to be also either favored or picked by Protectors of Aiur. They don't take it every single game. They have left it open when it was available to them. But it is their most played hero combo this season so far. Now, still waiting a little bit onto that first ban. Hog are going to be banned out. So just like a pretty standard offlaner, nothing really spectacular here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joanna banned out. And first pick will be over for Leoric Jenkins. So I expect the Vala to be banned here second for Protectors of Aiur, simply because she is way too valuable on this map. Her racing is just too good and very hard to play into as well, since she really only needs to land one ability that can go across walls to take down like a quarter health of the mortal. But no, they banned the Rhaegar. So Vala will be available for first pick if they choose to go for it. But yeah, Rhaegar also pretty standard ban. No, they banned the Vala themselves, actually. Oh, and it is blue pick, actually. Oh, I see how this works for the thing. So I did have that mistake. So Vala is going to be the second ban. They do not want to give that away. Vala, like I said, she's too good. All the reasons are still true. I just had the teams backwards. And what kind of first pick can I expect here? So I do think they should go for something like a Greymane if they want to get their DPS out early. Alternatively, they could just pick a tank or a healer. Or pick up the Hanzo. But the Hanzo is a very safe pick as well. Standard DPS, not someone you pick to race for the Immortal, but is a solid DPS nonetheless. Able to get a lot of poke damage. And depending on the ultimate, you can either be a really strong follow-up to an engage, or you can be the one to start the engage yourself. And then pair that with the long-range poke, even the vision. And surprisingly enough, we do see the Raynor. Raynor also has a very strong talent in being able to get the burn down onto the Immortals. But typically, you wouldn't see Raynor picked. It is a good hero. I don't think Raynor's bad by any means. Do not get me wrong. I think Raynor is a very good pick here. Just surprising, as most people would go either for the Greymane or sometimes even the Zul'jin. And we see Blaze and Muradin picked up the Sound 51. I didn't realize this was the Sounds team, but I'm sure as you all know, the Sound 51 is also a caster for the NGS. and was actually the one who inspired me to set up the overlays the way I did. I picked up my original workflow from there, but have been personalizing it off on top of that. So if you didn't know about that, or if you haven't already, go to thesound51 on twitch.tv and leave him a follow. Very good caster as well. I'm a little bit surprised to see that Greymane ban, especially since they've already picked the Brightwing. I expect Protectors of Aiur to try and pick up the Anduin as their healer. I think it'll be a very big deal for them to get that. And there are still other characters that are very good at racing that are still available. Li Ming is still up. Zul'jin is still up. Artanis is still up. I could see them picking it. I have seen multiple 3 bruiser compositions over on this map, but I don't expect that to be the case. Whoops, as I forgot to mute my Discord. Give me one moment. Alright, sorry, it's just very distracting when I'm hearing the pings over in the background.
Let's fly.
So we do have the Falstad picked up for the side of Leoric Jenkins and the Artanis. So like I was saying, Artanis very good at taking down the Immortals as well. Very good at being able to race against it. And having the Artanis and Raynor, they're going to be able to absolutely melt these Immortals. So it does look like they're trying to play more for the side of just hitting their own Immortal. They're not going to be playing for the fights. They're not going to be playing for the hard engages, as they are really lacking a lot of engages. They have disengage with Falstad. Most likely will go the Gust build. And Stukov Zagara picked up. I'm sorry, but these drafts are very interesting. Brightwing Falstad are going to be able to have that global pressure. However, on a smaller map like Battlefield of Eternity, it doesn't go quite as far as it would on something like Cursed Hollow or Sky Temple, though I believe that is not currently in the competitive queue. And Stukov and Zagar are very interesting picks. Stukov has the AoE instant silence. I don't really see who they'd really use it on. I don't think there's really anyone that would be in range that would severely gimp. But then Zagar will be able to get the push and could be the one that they use to just try and get as much DPS as possible down onto these Immortals. I'm not actually sure how good Zagara is at the race, and I'm not saying she's bad. I genuinely do not know. But we're definitely going to find out in just a few seconds, as we are going to be heading into game number 1. Protectors of Aiur versus Leoric Jenkins. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're still loading into the game. Should only be one more moment, as we are into game number 1. So now, pretty standard setup so far from what I'm expecting. I expect Zealous Human to be in the off lane, and the rest of them to be a 4-core. I could see Orion potentially becoming the offlaner later on in the game for Protectors of Aiur on that Zagara, but the Sound 51 definitely going to be the one to start off in that situation. We do have a pseudo double tank composition. Blaze most likely will be building the talents, with Stimpack, for example, being the first talent choice. More of a bruiser than a frontline tank, but will still be very tanky later on in these fights. Same with the Artanis. Sonic Arrow just going to spot them out. Not going to be able to gain bush control for the side of Leoric Jenkins, as they are just kind of grouping together and summoning as many Zerg as possible. A little bit of poke. Pina Colada able to get some damage out as well. And now other thing I am curious about is to see these talents. So it is going to be Exterminator. That's the talent you want to go on Raynor on this map. Gives 50% bonus damage against neutrals, but the neutrals also include the Immortals. So the amount of damage you can get off of it is very high. But neither side really has strong engages. However, the Sound 51 is already grouping down towards the bot side. They could try and force a fight here. The Kleptek is in range if it wants to do the Dwarf Toss. But the Sound 51 has rotated back over to the top lane. And we'll just go back to clear. There was no timing, but they didn't force the play, and I respect that. I think that if the play isn't going to happen, there's no need to force it. But it's still a good look nonetheless. Now both sides just continuing to clear out. No huge fight. We do see the Sound 51 once again moving down on the minimap. Then Psycho jumps in with Icing. Blizzard will end up stunning Ecliptic. Phase Shift will be used. And now they will get the Jet Propulsion, and Terrabat takes a lot of damage, but does have the Cleanse, so no one's going to go down, but Cleanse used as the main cooldown. But no one's even going to really be taken that low. But Longshot taking a lot of poke from Pina Colada over the wall. Was not ready for the Hanzo to be in that bush. Hanzo having been played mostly from this bottom side. But again, they have a lot of natural healing on this team as Psycho goes in once again. Stormhammer lands and now very low HP, and Psycho will go down. First blood going over to Leoric Jenkins. And I'm a little bit surprised by that move. The Mei did not have a lot of HP. Phase Shift was down. And it just did not seem like a play that could really happen. They don't have a lot of damage on their side. They do have a Hammerang starting to stack for the Prophecy, but has not hit that 30 talent breakpoint to really get that extra bonus damage. And nor do I think it's really worth trying to force for it either. But anyway, the Sound 51 is going to be just clearing out against Zedi's Human, as Psycho does go in once again. Longshot 101, able to get some DPS out. And they are started on their Bruiser camp. The Prophecy scouts it out, but not going to be able to defend against it, as the Leoric Jenkins will also get started on their Bruiser camp. And I'm wondering if they're going to contest it on Protectors of Aiur. Pina Colada will be able to scout it, but we'll just see the camp go down. So both sides will just trade their Bruiser camps. Equal talent tiers on both teams. They are grouping, and they're immediately going on the attack for Leoric Jenkins. They know their composition is much faster at racing, so they're going to try being the aggressor instead of just waiting for the enemy to make their move first. But the issue is it's very hard for them to walk into this. This siege camp is forcing down their wall and actually took down most of the wall. But in the meanwhile, the fighting is still continuing. Longshot just kind of throwing auto attacks over at Ecliptic. And Pina Colada throwing out the arrows. Still both sides just kind of positioning. The swap will not happen. Trying to run in. Zealous Human will use the... Oh no, the Phase Shift will hit Longshot instead of Zealous Human. It's a little bit of a misclick, I presume. But they are winning the race. Slowly but surely, they're not dying. They're able to get a lot of damage done to this Immortal. It is almost halftime. But one thing to note is that the Sound 51 is currently shoving out the wave in the top side. As they do go in Ecliptic, blinded. Dwarf Toss, very low range. So we'll be in the middle of everyone. But the Prophecy and Pina Colada try to hit each other in the backline. But then the Mei is stunned and will go down. And that's another kill going over. Protectors of Aiur. They're going to chase Longshot. Oil Slick, go in there for the slow. Very close to the tower, but Ecliptic runs in. Gets the slow, misses the Stormhammer though. But doesn't matter. The damage out of Pina Colada is too high. And a Zealous Human is still hitting Sergeant Scoops, who's out of mana. But that's still a 2-0 for Protectors of Aiur. They are level 7 now. So they have that town advantage. But the HP advantage on the Immortals is still heavily in their favor, and their composition's pretty bad at taking it. Pina Colada trying to DPS it, but only so much they can do. Psycho able to get Sergeant Scoops stuck. Hammerang coming in as well. Sergeant Scoops very low, just a couple more autos, but we'll be able to just walk away. As Zealous Human doesn't have anyone to swap into, as it is the halftime for these Immortals. And it spawns in a really good way for Leoric Jenkins. And I think with the positioning, with the Stukov having to back, they should be able to just clear this out. I'm wondering if there's going to be any follow-up for it, as we do see that this side of Protectors of Aiur did try to damage the Immortal as much as possible. Kind of lower the amount of shield they get out of it. The 2 health orbs do come out. And Psycho is just trying to zone them away. Uses the icing and throws a blizzard. Only will stun onto Orion. But it seems like they're just trying to delay them taking position so they can get more value out of this Immortal. They're going to clear out the waves now. And like they intended, they're not in position to defend right away. The Immortal is able to get right onto the wall. And this wall should be finished off pretty quickly. Psycho and Longshot also throwing out a lot of damage onto this wall. The gate is the final thing to stand. And that will also go down to the Immortal. The fort should be able to stay alive, assuming no mistakes coming out from Protectors of Aiur. But they will still get a lot of poke down on it. And that's kind of what you expect, and that's kind of what you hope for with the first Immortal. They were able to kind of close the XP lead gap, and even get more than half the health down from the from the top lane fort. But now it is a 5-on-4 in this top side. Psycho is in the middle of the team, and in fact goes in with the icing. Not going to land onto anyone. Long shot. Going to use the heal. Terabad will also force out the cleanse. But it's still 4v5. So they're just going to walk away, clear out this wave. And in the meanwhile, Zealous Human is finishing off the camp over on the bot side. And Leoric Jenkins was able to zone them away from this siege camp. In fact, Longshot 101 wants to fight for it as well. Ecliptic is able to land the Stormhammer. Lots of damage on a Longshot. Won't care too much. But Sergeant Scoops also takes around a quarter of his health. We did see that the Sound 51 is now on the bot side, so it is a 4v4. The healing comes out. Now Psycho's gonna be healed up quite a bit, and Orion's kind of low on mana, I'm starting to notice right now. And they're gonna be able to just zone them away. Hammerang gonna get a few more stacks. As now currently on 66 stacks, the Prophecy is slowly but surely getting very strong. Each individual stack doesn't really do that much in the grand scheme of things, but once it starts adding up, that Falstad will be able to deal a lot of damage. Level 10s have now come out for Protectors of Aiur. They are getting their main talents. We do see Devouring Maw coming out from Orion, Bunker, kind of the pretty standard picks. Avatar coming out for Eclectic. And level 10 has been mashed by Leoric Jenkins. So once the Immortals do spawn, and we do see the Bruiser Camp also getting taken down by Protectors of Aiur, they will be on even talents. And as you can see, they're both racing. And in fact, Protectors of Aiur started first, but the DPS is just so much higher. They are able to get jet propulsion and a lot of stuns over onto Longshot, who's able to run away. But the Maw will go on at the same time as the Dragon Strike. And unfortunately, they do cancel each other out. Jet propulsion onto 3, though. But at the same time, though, the Ice Wall will go down onto 3 as well. And 3 will get stunned over in Blizzard. But they take so much damage that they do have to back away. Now, we see all 5 members now trying to force down onto this Immortal. They've already caught up in the HP. But Psycho now in the middle of the enemy team. As they do get the blind onto all 5 members. So with that, they're going to be able to push them away from the Immortal. And in the meanwhile, we do see the Bruiser Camp hitting onto the top side, Bruiser Camp hitting down onto the bot side, and both teams are going to have to clear these waves. However, Leoric Jenkins don't seem too concerned that they're losing their bottom fort. They just want to get this Immortal. And with the team comp that they had, they very well could. And Pina Colada's jump does get interrupted. Not going to be able to really push anything off of that. But in the meanwhile, they do get a lot of damage onto Zealous Human. The face shield coming out from Terabad just in time. 2-man stun. With the Stormhammer, and Terabad still in the middle of everyone, taking so much damage and will go down. The healer has been removed from Leoric Jenkins. 4,500 HP left, but that should be enough. They should be able to finish this off. Psycho is trying to delay as much as possible. Gonna try and wait as the blind also comes in. Longshot just kind of auto-attacking over the wall, trying to get as much DPS as possible. But the Immortal will go down. Zealous Human tried to get on the backside, but it was too late. But Protectors of Aiur, now they're the ones in the driver's seat. And their Bruiser Camp, not only did it get the bot wall, the bot fort, it also got the secondary wall taken down almost entirely. Now Orion just finishing off as much of this wall as possible, trying to get as much push before the Immortal spawns. A phase shift going to be used just to bring Terabad over into this top wave. And this Immortal does not have a lot of shield, so will be a little bit easier to kill than normal. And Longshot 101 still will be able to clear it out super fast. But the fact remains that they were able to get the second Immortal, they were able to get the XP gains from it. And the huge blind landing on a 4. They got Maw on it too, but once again, Dragon Strike gonna be stacked on top of it, and the huge stun, and Longshot trying to survive. A little bit of healing still coming out from Longshot, but they were able to kill the Artanis in the backline, and Gust will come out trying to save their tank, Psycho, but Psycho no longer has any safety. The fort did go down, so that's another 2-0 in favor of the Protectors of Aiur. As they continue shoving over onto this top side, they are already onto this tower, and they're getting so much damage out of it. I don't know if they're going to be able to complete this wall, but even just getting an extra cannon tower, even just getting this poke damage over on the gate, that's damage later on they're not going to have to do again, and they'll be able to just shove right in. As after taking all of that, they're going to also take away this top side siege camp and reset. But now, level 13 already hit for Protectors of Aiur. They're in a pretty strong point right now. Only a half level until that talent is matched. So shouldn't be able to get too much out of this lead yet. Especially with there not really being an objective to fight over. They should be able to just clear out this bot side siege camp as well. But that'll be it. And in the meanwhile, the bruiser camp has been started over by Leoric Jenkins. And they should be able to clear this out pretty quickly. No one's going to come defending into it. Both sides just going to take their respective camps. And level 13 has been hit over for Leoric Jenkins. And now the Sound 51, a little bit overextended. Zealous Human tried to get the swap, was not able to land it. But with that, the Sound 51 is completely okay. Bruiser Camp is available right now for Protectors of Aiur, but they're focusing more on the positioning. And the Sound 51 actually goes in. Zealous Human throwing in a lot of damage. And will throw down the bunker as the Gust into the blind. And Dragon Strike will come out. Not really hit on anyone. But now Psycho's kind of stuck on the wrong side of the game. They were able to kill the Sound 51. And Psycho is barely staying alive. Ma hits on it too. But do they have the follow-up? They have the silence immediately after. And not only do they have follow-up, they were able to kill the false stand immediately. And they're going to continue chasing. Pina Colada standing in the front, just trying to get as many auto attacks off. At the end of the day, it was a 1-for-1, but not the 1-for-1 I was expecting. I was expecting Psycho to go down there. But still, 15-13, still no talent advantage. So 4-on-4, Leoric Jenkins could choose to fight this. A long shot coming in from behind, trying to hit onto Orion. Ecliptic is getting hit over by that little cruiser. As the halftime has been reached. Both sides now dealing with the camp. Siege camp just finished off on that side. As we see a lot of the gate going down over on the top side of Protectors of Aiur. Now the second half has begun. They are both hitting onto the Immortals. Longshot 101 just gonna completely stay up there and start chasing. But in the meanwhile, Psycho gets jumped on. Huge ultimate, huge phase shift healing coming out at the same time. And now the props, he's jumping onto Sergeant Scoops. And Dragon Strike landing, dividing up this team. And divide and conquer is what they'll do as Ecliptic picks up the kill. And now Psycho trying to kind of zone them away, buy a little bit more time. But it is looking really dire for them. Losing their offlaner is going to make defending this nigh impossible. And it doesn't seem like they'll be able to. They're going to try. Psycho running in, just trying to delay as much as possible. But the Immortal will still go down. And now Psycho's kind of stuck. Ice Wall will land to keep Ecliptic from chasing. Icing and Gust all used. But now the Maw picks up onto the Falstad. Silence on top of it and will go down once again. The Falstad getting picked off by Orion's ultimate. And they already have the Immortal shoving into the top side. They have a big wave in the bot side. And they're just going to try doing all of it at the same time. They don't need to push the Immortal in. They have the advantage already. They have level 16 advantage as well. And they're just going to start shoving onto this fort while their Immortal is taking out the keep over in the top side. Psycho already at half HP, forced to use the Ice Block. Dragon Strike going to be used just to poke. And Psycho just got healed up, but it's already right back to 1/4 HP. Ecliptic also getting kind of low, and they're kind of low on mana as well. But all they need to do is really just buy time, because in the meanwhile, if I can look really quickly, the Immortal is dealing incredible damage. Ecliptic running a little bit too far, trying to heal up, and will be okay. As the push does get stopped there, Psycho just forcing them back, trying to interrupt Ecliptic's healing. But they're just going to run back in. They see that they sent 2 to deal with the top side, so they're just going to continue this pressure over the bot side. We do have the suppression pulse coming in, blinding more. And the Stormhammer landing onto Psycho, but Psycho will be okay. Gust thrown, trying to divide them, but really all it does is gets them into Psycho. Longshot will throw out some auto attacks, but once again, Psycho does go down to the side of Protectors of Aiur. And now Ecliptic running in. Huge silence coming out as well. Maul will not land onto anyone. But Orion is slowly but surely taking poke. No swap coming out from Zealous Human, as this keep will also go down, and that's both keeps taken over. They have the bunker. They are trying to push down this wave, but the Talontiers are now even. Psycho is respawning, so it is a bit risky to try and stay for the game. And realistically, there's no reason for them to force the issue. They can just go back, group up together, and try and take down this... and just try and take down the next Immortal and push to win with that. Now the Bruiser camp will go back over towards the side of Leoric Jenkins. They will be able to at least secure 1 camp for themselves. And may even try to look for 2. The top side siege camp is available. But they are bringing 4 from the side of Protectors of Aiur. In fact, all 5 are going to go to that siege camp. They want to make sure they get it. Psycho has scouted them over on their camp. But now Longshot does get stunned. And Gust and Suppression Pulse both used. That's 2 pretty large ultimates not going to be available for this next fight. Immortals are spawning in 12 seconds. And there's going to be around a 30-second window where Leoric Jenkins will not have any of their ultimates available for it. Any of those 2 ultimates, anyway. And one other thing they have to worry about is this wave, this massive wave grouping over to the bot side. The Prophecy is already back to deal with it. But with that, they're not going to have the numbers. They're going to be at a small disadvantage. Longshot 101 just going to start racing. And like I've always said, in a race, the side of Leoric Jenkins will always win if both sides are just allowed a free hit onto their Immortals. Both sides are just kind of doing that. And ever so slightly, but they were able to win the race, even though it was 45 and the Sound 51 was trying to get in the way. And now the Suppression Pulse lands on everyone. Bunker thrown out as well. Ice Block in the front of everyone with Psycho, but Psycho not a lot of HP. Gust and Wind Wall at the same time. They got 2. Blizzard thrown in just a little bit late. Won't be able to stack quite together. The Sound 51 starting to get very low, but in the meanwhile, Psycho dies. And now they have the Stormhammer landing onto Zealous Human. Zealous Human trying to run away, but kind of stuck in the middle of the team. Dwarf Toss will go in to get the final hit off. And Longshot 101 was trying to just take this Immortal, but Sergeant Scoops will not allow it. Ecliptic also will not allow it. They're all just going to group together. 3 will push the Immortal. The other 2 will try and zone away. And why zone when you can just kill Longshot 101? And that's a 3 for 0 for the side of Protectors of Aiur. And during that, their waves are all pushing. They are losing so much value on this map. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to push to end here. Level 20 just got hit with the taking of the Immortal for Protectors of Aiur. Half of its health will be available in shield. So if they're able to force the issue here, this very well could be game 1 ending. Ecliptic grouping up. The entire team's just going to push through the bot side with the Immortal. They're trying to poke them down, make it as hard as possible for them to defend. Now Psycho is already taking a decent amount of poke damage. Dragon Strike will come through just to split up the map. Gust has been used a little bit early, but they do get 2 stuns over. And now Jet Propulsion onto everyone. And just like that, 2 more will go down for Leoric Jenkins. And they're just going to be able to go right onto this court. They have 4 in the bunker. The bunker does expire. Pina Colada taken quite low, and Zealous Human able to get a lot of damage over to Pina Colada, but they do stun Zealous Human. Zealous Human also goes down. A Longshot 101 will follow. The Prophecy, will you live? Throwing away the Stormhammer, but will survive, but will not be able to protect the core. And game number 1 goes to the Protectors of Aiur. Fantastic finish coming out from the Protectors of Aiur. I knew they were going to be able to play a clean game. They have shown already that, well, they're a team that can definitely win. They're a team that can definitely continue fighting. And they were very good at fighting. They had a lot of really strong combos with Zagara Ma followed by the Stukov Silence. It's very hard to play into that. I played into that combo before, and it sucks. Once you get caught in that, there's just no way out. That's the strength of the Stukov coming in, and the Orion being able to set it up in such a way that they were able to get constantly like a 2 or 3 man silence onto everyone was a huge reason why they won. Not to disparage the way anyone else on their team played, but that's really what stood out to me. Those big flashy plays. I love to see them. I know there's usually a lot happening in the background. But anyway, with that, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 2. Don't go anywhere, as we will be making the next lobby soon. And we are back already with a second draft. And we're going to be going to Cursed Hollow for map number 2. And now it's going to be a different sort of map. And in fact, it's one that if they were to replay the same draft, I think Leoric Jenkins would have a much better time. It's a very large map, so globals once again have a huge amount of pressure. And being able to cap the points, stacking the curses, is easier on this map than any other map in my opinion. All you have to do is just walk up, right click it. There's nothing special about it. But yeah, so that's kind of what I expect from this map. I do expect to see some globals getting banned out. I also wouldn't be surprised. I was about to say either Orion's Zagara or the Stukov to get banned out. And the Stukov, played by Sergeant Scoops, was insanely good. They were able to put it all together. They were able to really combo on top of that silence. And what I'm wondering is if they have if there's other heroes that Orion can play that could kind of have that combo together. As the Blaze also gets banned out to be taken away from the Sound 51. And Joanna, as usual, is going to be that second ban. What is different is Vala is available this game. I don't know if it's something they prioritize super heavily outside of Battlefields of Eternity. But even without that specific niche case, she is still one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. One of the strongest DPSs. Very versatile. Has 3 builds, all of which are strong. Especially in specific situations. But they will just go with the global healer as their first pick. Brightwing, very strong at that. Very solid healer. Has the cleanse very early on. And just overall someone who's kind of a safe pick. Not really showing their draft. Not showing what they're planning on running quite yet. As we see Dahaka and Falstad, 2 global heroes picked up by Protectors. Dahaka very strong in the offlane as well. Yeah. Once again, even without being able to go in between bushes, Dahaka is still just flat out strong as a character. And with Falstad having the fly ability, I do expect to see a lot of very strong and proactive map movements coming out from Protectors of Aiur. They were a pretty well put together team. They're able to play very coordinated. They play together. And so I expect to see the same thing when they start playing with their globals. It is trickier, especially when it comes to communications, when, who's using what global is currently available, which ones are down. So this will be really good for me to watch, just so that I can kind of see what level these players are at. How are they together as a team? And I expect them to perform well, to be completely honest. But in the meanwhile, Leoric Jenkins do pick up Samuro and the ETC. And Samuro, very strong offlaner as well. I'm not actually sure how the matchup goes between Samuro and Dahaka. I believe Samuro wins that fight. However, Dahaka is able to sustain better than Samuro as a default. And at the same time, is able to push the waves faster. Samuro does struggle with that until level 10 is reached. Now, Vala and Stukov banned respectively by the 2 teams. I'm not surprised to see that Stukov banned. I am surprised to see that banned second phase. That Stukov was a nightmare to play against, and I'm sure they all know that. And the Vala ban, once again, as I said before, just a very good, solid carry. No reason to have Vala available, especially if you're not planning on picking it yourself. And they're picking very strong push with Sylvanas and Anubarak. I kind of expect to see some level 1 cheese as well coming out from those 2. Oh, between the little scarabs and the black arrows, they can start picking stuff up early. And an Orphea is picked up by Leoric Jenkins. Okay, now we can start getting excited about this draft. Orphea, played by Zealous Human. What is this comp? Gazlo, Orphea, Samuro. This is a very interesting composition. Now, Orphea, whenever played well, whenever someone is able to just utilize their individual skill on that hero, they can absolutely take over games on their own. And they have so much layered CC available on their team. I can see the vision. It is a wombo combo team with the ETC Mosh Pit, the Gazlo pull-in thing. I forget what that thing's called. Gravitron, I believe. And then the Orpheum Ball on top of everything. So much damage. looking at the two drafts, I think I still have to give it to Protectors of Aiur just because it is easier to execute. But the highs of this composition for Leoric Jenkins are very high. And I'm really excited to see if they can pull that out for game number 2. All right, we are starting to load into this game number 2, and I really want to see how this is played out by Leoric Jenkins. I'm really excited for this draft. Casters are supposed to be unbiased between teams. That is true, and I am going to be unbiased for the teams. However, for this composition, for this selection of heroes, I will not be able to be unbiased. I want to see the wombo combo. I want to see it all go smoothly at least one time. And if it does, it'll be glorious. It'll be the highlight of the series, 100%.
5, 4.
But again, I do still draft-wise, I do favor Protectors of Aiur. So let's see how game number 2 goes. They're all starting to group mid. However, the Sound 51 is going to grab over that vision thing first. All 5 kind of in this bot side bush. The Prophecy will walk down to get their vision as well for their jungle. But no poke thrown around. Not a single ability has been used yet. And they're doing some very interesting movement already. Just kind of grouping all 5, but in a sort of pincer maneuver. Nothing's going to end up coming out of it. I was wondering if they were trying to do a flank play if someone overextended. But no one on the side of Protectors did. And now we start seeing the lane setups. Pina Colada going to be soloing top. Sound 51 going to be shutting at bottom. And in the meanwhile, they have a lot of damage going over onto Orion. Forced to use so many abilities to stay alive. That was the leap of faith and the barrel roll, and still half the HP gone, forced to tap. The siege camp has spawned. Prophecy is gonna be working to take this out, just whacking away at those camps. And Terabad is gonna be the one to group, or is gonna be the one to lane against Sound 51, which is a bit interesting. I expected Longshot 101, but seems to be doing fine into Pina Colada just the same, so no harm, no foul. Sound 51 is going to go over the vision grouping right now. I believe that does see the siege camp, though is not opting to go against it. The siege camp is also going to be taken down by Protectors of Aiur. Longshot 101 trying to jump in. Pina Colada will spot him out. They're not going to be able to get any poke damage off quite yet. And both teams still kind of just setting up. But now we see the first real map difference where Protectors of Aiur have started on their bruiser camp. But Leoric Jenkins isn't just interested in starting their own. They're interested in preventing them from taking their bruiser camp. Now, if they're successful, this could be a pretty big play for them. But however, it does seem like they're just going to be pushed back, and they'll accept it. But Terabad, at the same time, is able to get such a big push with the siege camp in the bot side. So they will be able to get pressure anyway, just using this siege. There's a little bit of poke going down just to the top side. I don't really expect any deaths here. I think Pina Colada's escape is very strong with that Shadow Wave. But in the meanwhile, they're all grouping mid, and the first objective has spawned. The first tribute is available. And I am kind of curious to see what talent, non-heroic abilities, as Psycho does go in, is able to get the power slide onto Ecliptic. I don't know what happened with me there. But Psycho will be okay. We'll be able to walk away with 200 HP. Got very low, but at the end of the day, does still survive. Now, lots of fighting happening over top side. Longshot 101 and Pina Colada both low. Longshot 101 did have the tap available. And will run in, starts looking over to Pina Colada. Will try to cap it, but won't be able to grab it in time. Zealous Human trying to shove out this mid lane. Sergeant Scoops will try to take it, but the power slide will interrupt it. Not going to be able to follow up any further than that. We'll get a lot of damage over onto Ecliptic, and a lot of damage being dealt on Ecliptic. But now Psycho's stuck in the middle of the enemy team, and will get taken down. The Sound 51 also burrows in, and not going to be able to get the drag onto anyone. And it seems that Sergeant Scoops will get the first, will be able to channel this first tribute. Now, in the meanwhile, they are just hitting over onto this tower. But only losing one tribute isn't a big deal. They will be okay just being able to shove out this bot wave instead. It is still worth it. They do lose a good chunk of their wall on the top side. But the XP rates overall are pretty close. And I think a big part of that does come from the fact that they never took their own bruiser camp. They are going to be walking over towards it now. Terabad is starting onto that bruiser camp, as the second tribute is starting to spawn. Also going to be on the top side, but this time we'll be favoring Protectors of Aiur in terms of the side of their map. Now Longshot 101 just gonna staff bash Orion a couple times. And the Prophecy will be catching up over this mid lane. But their lane assignments have been hurting them just a little bit. The Sound 51 is able to clear out this bot side, and no one is there to match. The global pressure really starting to come out. Now the tribute has spawned. Sergeant Scoops will take back the vision. And Orion will barrel roll in as well. Now Psycho just kind of walks through them. Doesn't really care too much. Power Slide going to land on it too. Not going to be able to use a follow-up right away. Will knock Orion back into the team, but lots of healing. And Psycho, very low HP. 50 HP, but not going to be taken down quite yet. Pina Colada taking a lot of DPS as well. They do hit their level 9, and the turrets have been set up by the Prophecy. Longshot 101 also healing, trying to get onto the back of everyone. And Sergeant Scoop's taking so much damage. We'll be throwing out the heals, but a lot of poking. Just overall, a lot of damage and well set up positioning over by the side of Leoric Jenkins. They're kind of able to take onto this. As the power slide hits onto Leoric, the follow-up stun will not land. And Longshot 101 is still just being an absolute pain, as they are able to secure that first tribute for Leoric Jenkins. The Sound 51 had to be in the mid lane at that point to clear out the siege camp that was taken, or sorry, not the siege camp, the bruiser camp that was taken earlier. And speaking of siege camps, Pina Colada and Sergeant Scoops will take theirs together. Team effort and a team bonding exercise. Now the Prophecy is gonna try shoving out the wave. I should look at the name of the stun. Explodium charge. And hopefully they will be able to really put their plays together once they hit level 10. Their composition is kind of meant for that.
Petty squabbling.
But once they are able to hit that level 10, they're going to have a huge wombo combo. And if they're able to land 2 or 3, and they don't even need to do more than that, 2 or 3 will be enough. But the boss has been started over by Protectors of Aiur. They are level 10. They know they're level 10. And they should be able to take this for free. I don't think they're looking to contest it from the side of Leoric Jenkins. And I don't think they can contest it even if they wanted to. They're trying to get the level 10s as fast as possible. We'll get it now, but the boss has already been taken. The tribute is still up, so not only has the boss been taken, they will also have to try and fight for this tribute at the same time. The talent tier is currently tied, but the map pressure is not. The map pressure is very much favoring Protectors of Aiur. Boss now gonna be landing over onto the wall, slowly getting taken down, and Pina Colada uses the black arrows, I believe. Yes, the black arrows have been used, as we do see some damage being dealt onto Orion by Longshot 101. The Prophecy, however, already collected. So Protectors of Aiur were not able to use the pressure they got in order to finish off the tribute. And in my opinion, it's a little bit of a waste there. I think that they could have done a little bit more with that pressure, but they showed last game they do like to play it safe. They want to make sure that the plays they take are going to be wins. Face melt onto Orion. No follow-up, is able to just barrel roll away. But now the Sound 51's starting to scout their boss. And if they're able to time their third tribute on the side of Leoric Jenkins with their boss, it would be a really big win. However, it does not seem to be the case. We do see the Prophecy starting to walk down. And if Leoric Jenkins is able to grab this, that's going to be a huge boon for them. Being able to have this curse. And they're going to be able to get a lot of value out of it just by the nature of the curse. It is one of the strongest objectives you can take as a one-shot. It's any of the minions and disables all towers for the enemy team. And they've already shown with this Gazzle, they're able to take over areas very consistently and very well. Impale landing on it too, however. The Sound 51 does jump in. And a lot of ultimates thrown down. Gust in the backline. Drag will land. And they will be able to take down the ETC in the front. The Sound 51 is still surviving. Has a lot of heal. As the Gravitron does land. No follow-up though. Now Longshot 101 still trying to deal damage over on the backline, but it seems to be a little bit too little too late. Now the Prophecy is going to get taken into the cocoon, dragged backwards, and the Prophecy will also get taken down. And Zealous Human jumps in with the, trying to keep him alive, but will not be able to. The Sound 51 still running in and is able to get the drag. So that's a 4 for nothing, sorry, as Psycho has just respawned in favor of the Protectors of Aiur. And just like that, they're also going to be able to take over this bottom fort and get the tribute. Level 13 talents also now available for them as they are boasting a 1.5 level lead. As Psycho and Terrabat trying to even it out by taking their siege camp. And Longshot 101, even slightly risky play, however it is Samuro, very safe on that hero. Is going to try to take, to steal their siege camp. Now they haven't seen it yet, Sergeant Scoops not electing to walk in there yet. So if Longshot 101 is able to just get a little bit more DPS, that camp will go down. However, the boss camp is being started by Protectors of Aiur. You steal our bruiser, we will steal your boss. And the boss is definitely the better camp to take. But it's 5 on 5. They are down a talent here this time on Leoric Jenkins. So it will be a little bit harder. Longshot 101 dealing so much damage to Orion in the backline. Will have to play it safe. Is able to just get away. And is just poking a lot of damage. But in the meanwhile, the Sound 51 is starting to shove out in that side lane. And getting so much value out of that Tahaka. The burrow has been used now. The Sound 51 is now grouped with the team. So the wave has been shoved in, but they're not continuing with the shove. Sergeant Scoops trying to take the cap, but will not be able to. Drag thrown down. But still, both sides just going to be looking for the one play. Longshot 101 kind of stuck, but Psycho able to power slide. Throws down, and all the ultimates just thrown on top of Psycho to prevent the mosh pit. A light bomb will just land onto the Prophecy. As they do get the Gravitron, only lands onto 1. They do get the extra stun as well. The Prophecy trying to survive as long as possible. Terrabat fighting in the backline as much as possible. And the Sound 151 is kind of throwing down Zealous Human. So they lose their healer. And in the meanwhile, the Samura also goes down. The Burrow will not be able to land. The Burrow charge, sorry, I believe. And the Curse does get picked up over by the side of Protectors of Aiur. A Psycho and the Sound 151 fighting. And Psycho is taking a lot of damage. And will, in fact, go down to the Sound 151. Able to drag that ETC to his death. Now, all of the minions are still spawned. Pina Colada just clearing away this top side, stealing those minions so they can get that top lane fort. Ecliptic already starting to group up and not going to go for the top lane. They're going to run straight to the bottom. They're looking to get the keep down here. The Prophecy's here to defend, and the Gazlo does have a lot of wave clear just inside of the kit. As they do get the Bro Charge onto the Prophecy. Light Bomb as well. Will throw out the cleanse, but not enough. Impale on it too. And the Prophecy is still taking so much damage. Will not be able to get laser out in time for the heal. But in the meanwhile, Psycho and Ecliptic, nothing to really worry about there. With the keeps disabled, they can just walk in and kill him. And that is someone who's a major part of their Wombo combo if they do want to get this successfully. As the Impale on it too, and the Burrow Charge is able to get both the ETC and the Brightwing. Both tank and healer gone, and the minions have respawned. The keep is now working again, but they're still going to be able to take over this camp. And they're looking like they're going to try and end here. They are up a talent here. Longshot 101 trying to delay here as long as possible as well. And I'm wondering if they're going to continue attempting this push. They do seem to be backing away now. They decided that is for the best. But Longshot 101 just gonna kind of run away, start looking for any kind of XP that they can get, as the siege camp is going to be stolen over by Protectors of Aiur. Prophecy just throwing in a little laser, because why not? May as well. But it is looking bad right now for the side of Leoric Jenkins. I still want to see their Wombo combo work just once. If they're able to get it, they will be able to win a fight as soon as they can. So now they are hitting onto this boss camp. 1 second, I need to answer this. Okay, they're hitting onto this boss camp as hard as they can, and they should be able to secure it. They're just going to be trading the boss camps from both sides. And I'm wondering if Protectors of Aiur are going to try and shove this in at the same time.
Red team's core is under attack.
So the core is being under attack, just only by the siege camp so far. Longshot 101 kind of low. The Sound 51 was able to poke him out quite hard. And as they walk in, They're going to be looking for their angle. They're just trying to keep the side of Leoric Jenkins stuck in their base, but who needs to keep them stuck in the base when you can just remove them off the map entirely? Able to get the one shot over onto the tank, and just like that, the mosh pit has been taken out. The Prophecy, however, is still alive and could make a play himself. Does have the gravel bomb, but the boss is already on, and they are able to land it only onto Sergeant Scoops. Mind control landing onto the Gazlowe as well. Brightwing stuck in the cocoon. Terrabad gets gusted into the wall. Same with Zealous Human, and Zealous Human also going to get run down. Longshot 101 tries to do his best, but that's going to be the entire team wiped. And game number 2 also goes for Protectors of Aiur as they're able to get that domination. And that is the first series of the first series done of the day. There will be another one coming up shortly after this, but this was a little bit of a stomp. As much as I hate to say it, I do think that Protectors of Aiur were just better than the Leoric Jenkins. They played really well. They played really clean, and this game did not take a single death at all. They are one of the top teams in the B East division. They are a team to beat. They're one of the strongest competitors they have in that division. So it's no surprise that they were able to take this in such a resounding fashion. And now I will be taking a second game, but that does not start till 8 o'clock today. So there's going to be an hour of a break. I'm going to see if any other NGS games are being streamed. It does not seem to be. Yeah, there's not going to be any games happening till 6:30. So normally I would try to keep this stream alive, but I think this time I'm just going to end it now and be live again in an hour. So thanks everyone for watching, and once again, thank you AFK Journey for sponsoring this stream. And a big shout out, 3 people have now installed this game. And it does help support me a lot. It definitely gives me more motivation to continue casting. Not that I really need it. I'm planning on doing it anyway. But just a huge shout out to everyone involved here. So thank you very much. And I'll see you all in about an hour.